Hi friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you a new traveler's notebook spread. There is a design process and also the physical scrapbooking process as well that'll be later in the video. You can skip ahead if you would like and you want to skip this portion of it. Otherwise, get comfortable and enjoy. This page is only a single page in my spread. I skipped the very first page in the album in favor of doing a double page spread, which was good because I ended up missing a day or two as far as my photos go because I am still a chronological scrapbooker, and went back in time just by a couple of days and scrapbooked this layout as well. So this layout is going to be about my routine, my daily chores and the schedule that I follow. And on Tuesdays is my dusting day, and every 2 weeks my grocery shopping day. And that's what this layout is about, specifically about the groceries. I just snapped a picture of my grocery list and told the story about that. So I started with this geometric pattern that is in the background. I actually opted to swap that out with a pattern paper that I had in my stash rather than trying to cut that pattern. I wasn't confident that it would cut very nicely with my Cricut, and so I skipped that part when I did the actual assembly part of this layout. Even though I really like this background, I will use it again, I think, in the future on a larger project, and I think it'll look really good. I also wanted to split the page in a 3/4, 1/4 sort of way so that some space was left for my journaling, which I did on my computer again, and then the rest was for the picture and my title. I'm just working on embellishing the top portion of the page just a little bit. I'm going to be cutting a little square frame. The full white square is actually going to be for my photo. I always include in all of my designs the squares for photos that would denote a photo, as well as the word journal, which you see at the bottom of the page. So if me, I know when I sit down to actually create my page what my thought process was and where everything is going to go when I physically put the page together. I also added a few flowers just to embellish a little bit. It is going to change a little bit as far as the page goes. Here I'm just showing you the scraps that I actually killed in my die cutting. This white piece is going to be thrown out as well after I mat the Tuesday frame to it. Right now I'm just adding the pattern paper, which is substituting the geometric pattern that was in my original design. And then I'm going to glue Tuesday to that white bit of cardstock, and then that will be done. So as you can tell, we just transitioned from the design portion of this video to the physical assembly portion of this video. So now that the background pattern paper is adhered to the first page, which is leftover pattern paper from the 6x8 paper pad from Cocoa Vanilla Sunkissed, it was in my stash and I decided to use that up. It was the right color because I wanted to stick with a blue and yellow color scheme for this layout. My goal in creating my traveler's notebook spreads is to use up my scraps. If I can get away from using 12x12 pattern papers, I will not use them. That's the goal anyways. Realistically, I will probably need to use it at some point, but right now I'm just interested in using up my scrap papers, and that is my goal. So that includes these little leaves that I die cut with my Cricut as well. The darker patterned leaf is actually some Stampin' Up paper that is quite old, but it worked well with the colors that I wanted to use in this layout as well. So I used that up. I'm working on the frame right now. It's going to sit on top of my flowers. So here is where my design changed just a little bit. One of the flowers I had hanging off the page in my design on the left hand side. I realized when I went to create this page that wasn't necessarily going to work, because the left side of the page was the inside cover of my traveler's notebook. I didn't want it over on that side. I may do something else on that page, like a title page. I'm not entirely sure yet. I might actually just leave it plain white. At some point I do plan to create some sort of a title for the outside of the traveler's notebook, but I have no idea at this point what that's going to be. So I'm just leaving that as well. So as you can see, there's a 3/4, 1/4 design on this page. That bottom portion was reserved for my journaling, so that is down there at the bottom. That was just printed on my computer and adhered as is to this page. There's no cardstock matted behind it. Here's my photo. It was cut at or printed at 2 by 2 inches. And here's the flower that was going to be on the left hand side. I decided to move it over and plop it on top of the larger yellow flower that it's sitting over, just so that it works better with this page. And last but not least, I have this tab that I'm trying to figure out. I wanted to add it somewhere on the page. It also was going to be, well, it wasn't going to be on the left-hand side of the page, but it was going to be at the bottom of the Tuesday frame, but it covered too much of my journaling and I didn't like that. So I moved it around, tried to figure out what I wanted to do, and decided that it didn't work anywhere. So I'm just going to add the date directly to the journaling on the very right-hand side of the page. But before I do that, I'm adding a little subtitle, which is going to be Today Is. So the entire title is Today is Tuesday. And then that sets up my journaling for what I wanted to talk about, what happens on Tuesdays, and how much I enjoy my routine and don't want it to change, and actually kind of get a little perturbed when things do come along that alter my little schedule. I'm a creature of habit and I gotta stick with it. Here's the close-ups. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back again soon. Bye, friends.